On December 10, 2025, a federal court delivered a stunning blow to the Trump administration, ruling that President Trump's federalization of the California National Guard was an illegal overreach. The court ordered the immediate return of 4,000 troops to Governor Gavin Newsom's command, marking a pivotal moment in the ongoing struggle between state and federal authority. The judges found the administration had exceeded its legal powers, setting a precedent that could redefine presidential authority for years. This decision is more than a procedural setback, it's a fundamental rebuke of the administration's approach to state relations and domestic policy. As the dust settles, the implications of this landmark ruling are only beginning to be understood, promising intense legal and political fallout for the Trump presidency. The conflict began on June 7, 2025. A day that would quickly become infamous in California's modern history. Tensions had been simmering for weeks, with protests and unrest growing in Los Angeles and other major cities. The atmosphere was charged, and the nation watched anxiously as events unfolded. On that day, President Trump invoked a rarely used federal law, one that allows the president to assume direct control over state National Guard units. He ordered a third of California's National Guard to federal service, citing escalating civil unrest in Los Angeles as the primary reason. The move was swift and decisive, catching many by surprise. This marked the first time in American history that a president federalized a state's guard against the explicit wishes of its governor. The decision sent shockwaves through political circles and ignited immediate outrage among both state officials and the public. Demonstrations intensified, and the debate over federal versus state authority took center stage. Critics from across the political spectrum called it a dangerous and unprecedented political move, warning that it set a perilous precedent for future administrations. Many feared that the federal government was overstepping its bounds, using military force to suppress dissent rather than restore order. Governor Newsom, visibly frustrated, insisted that California's own authorities were fully capable of handling the situation. He argued that the state had already mobilized resources and was working to de-escalate tensions without federal intervention. The standoff between state and federal leaders quickly became a national spectacle. The deployment of 4,000 Guard members in a law enforcement role across Los Angeles and surrounding areas ignited widespread fears of militarization and creeping authoritarianism. Residents described a city transformed overnight, with armored vehicles patrolling neighborhoods and soldiers enforcing curfews. Unlike previous uses of this extraordinary power, Trump's action bypassed the governor's consent entirely, venturing into uncharted legal territory. Legal experts scrambled to interpret the implications, as the courts prepared for what would become a landmark battle over the limits of presidential authority. The administration's justification for the move was widely seen as an exaggeration, with many accusing the White House of inflating the threat to justify a power grab. This only fueled suspicions that the federal government was seeking to expand its reach far beyond what the law intended. Ultimately, the federalization of California's troops was just the opening move in a much broader campaign to test and perhaps redefine the limits of presidential authority. The stage was set for a dramatic legal showdown, one that would have lasting consequences for the balance of power in America. The court's ruling meticulously dismantled the administration's arguments, finding that Trump had acted unlawfully. Judges focused on the requirements of the federal statute and the Posse Comitatus Act, concluding that California was not unable to execute federal law. The unrest did not justify stripping the governor of command, and the use of the Guard for domestic policing violated crucial legal barriers. The court emphasized federalism, warning that allowing such federalization would destroy the balance between state and federal power. The order for the Guard's immediate return was a direct command, not just a symbolic gesture. The urgency of the decision signaled that the principles at stake were too important for delay, delivering a swift victory to California. Governor Newsom celebrated the ruling as a monumental win for states' rights and the rule of law, calling it a vindication of his opposition to federal overreach. He praised the Guard's loyalty to their state and community, not to political whims, and quickly began coordinating their return. President Trump, meanwhile, responded defiantly on social media, condemning the decision as political and vowing to appeal to the Supreme Court. He insisted his actions were necessary to restore order and accused the court of siding with radicals. The White House echoed his stance, warning that the ruling set a dangerous precedent. The administration maintained that Trump acted within his constitutional authority. The legal battle is far from over, with both sides preparing for the next round. This ruling extends far beyond California, setting a precedent that strengthens governors' control over their National Guard units. It affirms that federalization against a governor's will is reserved for only the most extreme circumstances, not routine unrest. The decision is a crucial check on presidential power, reminding the executive that its authority is not unlimited. Legal scholars predict this case will be cited for decades in debates over federalism and separation of powers. For future presidents, the bar for federalizing a state's guard is now much higher. The ruling clarifies the legal landscape, but also opens the door to new legislative battles over the rightful scope of federal and state power. The National Guard decision is part of a broader legal war over executive power, contrasting with the Trump administration's efforts to expand authority in areas like immigration and federal agencies. Simultaneously, the administration is fighting for more control over independent agencies and challenging birthright citizenship, pushing the boundaries of established law. Legal battles also include efforts to silence immigration judges, reflecting a pattern of consolidating power and limiting dissent. These cases reveal an executive branch testing constitutional limits, with the judiciary acting as a counterweight. The National Guard ruling is a rare but significant check on presidential overreach. While the administration may win some battles, the courts remain a formidable obstacle to any fundamental shift in the balance of power. The federalization of the Guard had a profound impact on both the soldiers and the communities they served. For many, it was a moment of uncertainty and tension, as familiar faces in uniform were suddenly tasked with enforcing federal orders in their own neighborhoods. This new reality forced troops to police their own streets, sometimes coming face to face with neighbors, friends, and even family members. The presence of armed soldiers in residential areas strained the delicate fabric of local trust, raising questions about loyalty and the proper role of the military in civil society. Many Guard members felt their mission had been politicized, caught between their duty to follow orders and their desire to serve their communities without becoming symbols of division. When the court's decision was finally announced, it brought a sense of relief and hope. Soldiers looked forward to returning to their traditional roles, helping in times of disaster, supporting local needs, and serving as protectors rather than enforcers. Community leaders welcomed the ruling as a crucial step toward demilitarization and the slow process of rebuilding trust between citizens and those in uniform. They saw it as an opportunity to open dialogue and heal divisions that had deepened during the crisis. The judges, in their carefully worded opinion, underscored the enduring importance of the Posse Comitatus Act and the principles of federalism. Their decision was a reminder that the balance of power between the federal government and the states is a cornerstone of American democracy. By doing so, they reminded the nation that presidential authority, while significant, is not absolute, and that the rule of law must always prevail, even in times of uncertainty. The case became a real-world story about the complex relationships between soldiers, citizens, and the institutions meant to protect their rights. It was a moment when the lines between duty and conscience were tested. The judiciary's duty to uphold rights was never more clear, as judges weighed not just the letter of the law, but its spirit and impact on everyday lives. The verdict was not just a legal pronouncement, it was a statement about the nation's values and the responsibilities of those in power. It was, in many ways, a moral judgment about the kind of country America aspires to be, a place where the rights of individuals are protected and the military serves the people, not the other way around. Ultimately, the ruling reaffirmed a fundamental principle, that America should be a nation where the military does not police its own people, but instead stands ready to defend their freedoms. The court's ruling against Trump's federalization of the California National Guard is a landmark with far-reaching consequences. In a moment that captured the nation's attention, the judiciary stepped in to draw a clear line between federal and state authority, sending shockwaves through the political landscape. The decision not only challenged the president's actions, but also reaffirmed the foundational principles of American democracy, reminding the country that no leader is above the law, and that the separation of powers remains a cornerstone of the republic. By declaring the action illegal and returning troops to state control, the court reinforced the constitutional balance of power. This move was seen by many as a victory for states' rights and a critical check on executive overreach. For the men and women of the National Guard, it meant a return to their original mission, serving their state and its people, rather than being drawn into a national political struggle. The ruling also sent a powerful message to governors and lawmakers across the country, highlighting the importance of vigilance in protecting state sovereignty. Legal scholars and political commentators quickly weighed in, debating the broader implications for federalism and the future of executive power in America. The decision sets a precedent that will force future presidents to think twice before attempting similar actions. It serves as a warning that the courts are willing to intervene when the balance of power is threatened, and that the legal system remains a vital safeguard against potential abuses. This case now becomes a key chapter in the legal battles defining the Trump presidency. Headlines across the nation reflect the uncertainty and tension gripping the country, as Americans watch closely to see how the administration will respond. The legal and political ramifications are likely to echo for years to come. The administration's appeal could send the case to the Supreme Court, with lasting impact on presidential power. If the highest court in the land takes up the case, its decision could redefine the boundaries of federal authority and reshape the relationship between the states and Washington for generations. As the troops return, the nation is left to grapple with the profound questions this conflict has raised. Families, lawmakers, and ordinary citizens alike are left to ponder what this means for the future of American democracy, and whether the lessons of this moment will endure. The legal battle may be over for now, but the debate over the limits of power and the future of American federalism has only just begun. As the sun sets on this chapter, the nation stands at a crossroads, facing new challenges and unresolved questions about the balance between liberty and authority in the years ahead.